This is the MoCo Show podcast. If it's happening in Montgomery County, we're talking about it. Here are your hosts, Steve Solomon and Alex Saronis.
Welcome to the MoCo Show podcast. I'm Steve Solomon along with Alex Saronis. This is episode 54 of the show. We're live at Four Corners Pub in Four Corners, Silver Spring. All right, my friend Alan Bowser is in the house.
Yeah.
Mr. Silver Spring himself is here at Four Corners Pub. Four Corners, the birthplace of me, Steve Solomon. I was born and raised about 2 blocks south of here on Colesville. Spent my first 10 years in Four Corners before we moved to Wheaton, and this pub has been here that long. Founded in 1967, the Four Corners Pub. It was the corner pub for a long time. As you can see on their paperwork, they added the 4
Yep.
to Four Corners Pub. Your friendly neighborhood corner pub. They got pizza, they got burgers, they got sandwiches, which we enjoy. This is Tuesday night, so there's half-price pizza night, as is Thursday night. They got trivia here Wednesdays, happy hour every weekday afternoon. So if you live in Silver Spring, if you live in Four Corners, and you don't know about the Four Corners Pub, you should, of course, check them out. Thanks to Katie, who took care of us tonight here at Four Corners Pub. And it's passed ownership a few times, and it became the Four Corners Pub a little while ago. But it's my first time here, and very good. I like the pizza.
They have half-price pizza on Thursdays, and they have specials like all week.
Yeah,
but
Monday is 40% off burgers. I remember reading. So
that's an interesting number. 40.
It's packed for a Tuesday night. It is All-Star Game night. Baseball.
And the MoCo Show's here.
The MoCo Show's here. I know several people came out. I know, just for the MoCo Show. We understand. That's fantastic. But also for the All-Star Game and for the fine corner pub atmosphere on a regular Tuesday night. But I enjoyed myself with the food. Very good pizza. We were always asked, comparing pizzas at different places. We've been at Stained Glass. We've, of course, all eaten at Lido's. So the battle of the square or rectangular pizzas, Four Corners has put their hat in the ring as well for a fine pizza.
I'll tell you, I made a post a couple weeks ago on Instagram asking who has the best pizza. As we know, Stained Glass Pub had won it in 2017, and I asked, and so many people
on the wall,
they do,
but
but
right there,
so many people mentioned the Four Corners Pub, and they said you got to go there, and the pizza was tasty.
They gave us a pepperoni, and they have very large pepperoni slices, perhaps the largest I've seen on a pizza. It almost covers a whole slice, and it gives it very good flavor. So I liked it. Very cheesy. John enjoyed the pizza as well. The cheesier, the better, right, John?
He didn't like the way the cheese fell off.
Well, that's all right. It all gets eaten to me.
We ate it. So
I used to watch Top Chef, and it's all presentation and putting exact stuff. I'm like, whatever, man. It all gets eaten. It's all got to get eaten, too. If it doesn't get eaten, I don't want it on a plate. I don't need, flowers that don't get eaten on a plate. Just give me stuff that gets eaten, and I like it. So thanks to Four Corners Pub for having us out here on All-Star Night. We're happy to be out here. And Four Corners Pub, by the way, the sponsor of John's father, John Lynch, as well, Sligo Middle School Teachers Kickball Team. Sponsored by the Four Corners Pub. How about that?
That is cool.
So there's a personal connection for John and his dad, and we that's the kind of stuff you enjoy about a neighborhood place like this. Our friend Chris at Squizzitos is a sponsor of Little League teams there in Burtonsville. Yep. So Four Corners Pub does the exact same thing. Very community-oriented. I bet a lot of people here have been here hundreds of times to Four Corners Pub over the years. So we appreciate them for having us out today. So gets right into the openings and closings.
Let's jump right in.
Yeah, a lot of openings and closings this week. I don't want to say it's the MoCo Show curse, but a place we were just at a month ago has now closed. Right?
Well, I'll tell you, they've only been around for 3 months.
That's true.
So Fuse Taco opened at the end of March and ended up closing just last week.
They were in downtown Bethesda.
We had Robert Dyer there.
We did. And I liked the food. It was an innovative idea. Tacos from around the world. I mean, we got the 10 taco sampler, one of each from India, Japan, U.S., Mexico, you name it. They got, and I like Greece. They got a whole variety of them, and I enjoyed it. Unfortunately, there was only one other group in the place at the time we were there, so I'm like, I hope they get some more customers, and it's tough. I mean,
the owner told me he's going through some personal stuff too. He said just not enough capital. He said we were doing all right. He said we had customers. He just didn't have enough capital to keep a new restaurant going.
Right.
So they closed.
Downtown Bethesda's tough. It's not only expensive rent-wise. There's competition everywhere around you in every variety of food. So. It's a tough place to start a new restaurant unless you're really expecting big things. A lot of places open and close in Bethesda, as Robert Dyer has told us over the years, that because the rent is very high and you need a lot of business to sustain. So unfortunate for them. We got a free cannoli offer here in town.
Yeah, so Filippo's, formerly Marchone's in Wheaton. So Filippo Leo is the nicest human being in the world. If you ever go down to Filippo's and he's there, he is one of the nicest people ever. And I was told that they had a brand new website, and when I went to check it out, it said free cannoli with your online purchase. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to let everyone know about this. And that post ended up blowing up. I mean, people on Facebook, that thing reached like 30,000 people. So I was glad to see it. They have, if not the best, one of the best Italian cold cuts in the whole county. They have great other foods, too. And last time I went, he gave me a cannoli, so I know that those are good.
All right.
So if you order online, and it's not a delivery service, you just order ahead because they have a lot of construction going on in front, and maybe you just stop in there and pick up your order. You get a free cannoli.
Very cool.
Go check it out. Filippo's, formerly Marchone's, in the Wheaton Triangle area.
People like free stuff, and people
Absolutely.
like cannolis. So free cannolis, what can get better than that? We do some martial arts news, openings and closings. My former dojo in Silver Spring, long gone. It was next to the Exxon station. Master Hong's, where I studied, long gone. But a new Taekwondo place is opening.
It's called Taekwondo.
That's a good name.
And it replaces...
I saw the
sign.
The sign. I'm like, it is Taekwondo.
Yeah, it's called Taekwondo. It actually used to be one store over, and it moved over one store in the Muddy Branch Shopping Center in Gaithersburg, and now the beer and wine is gone, and Taekwondo is in. We also have some DC news. We don't really...
Just outside of MoCo.
Just outside, beyond MoCo. And it's these two places are right on top. One's right on top of the other. Front Page and Buffalo Billiards in DuPont are going to be closing at the end of this month.
And that's huge. I mean, they've been there forever. We used to do a show at Front Page weekly during the football season, and at Buffalo Billiards as well. And that's like a DuPont institution. It's been there as long as I can remember. And hey, everything has its life cycle, I guess, and this is affecting a lot of people. I'm sure there's Front Page regulars and Buffalo Billiards regulars who've been going there for 25 years, and now they're both shutting down. So that's very sad.
Very sad, and Front Page was like a happy hour spot for me in my 20s. I think I saw Pacquiao and Mayweather at Buffalo Billiards. So a lot of good memories for a lot of people over there in DuPont. So Jerry's in Gaithersburg is closing at the end of this month.
Is that the one you worked at in your first?
No, I worked in Olney. That's all. That's closed.
That's long closed.
So now we only have Aspen Hill, Burtonsville, and Silver Spring left.
Really?
Because Montgomery Village was going to get a Jerry's as well. They put the signage up, and now the signage is gone, and Jerry's is not returning my calls.
Uh-oh.
So it looks like that one's not happening either. So Gaithersburg loses their second one in a year, and Montgomery Village isn't getting one. But Mod Pizza has opened in Gaithersburg. This morning, was their opening day, and they gave 52 free pizzas away. I'm assuming it's their 52nd store.
Okay.
That's my guess. And
I thought it was like one a week for a year or something.
Who knows?
I don't know.
No, it's 52 free to the first 52 customers. So that other giveaways as well. But sticking to Gaithersburg here, a lot of Gaithersburg news today. Riverside Hot Pot, which was one of the first hot pots in Montgomery County, has closed. They have another location in Fairfax if you want to check them out. But they closed. And you sent me something over a couple days ago. I ended up not posting it because I was a little angry with how people were responding to a couple of things. But you went to a July 4th parade in Tacoma Park. I saw a lot of people posting pictures. Tell us a little about it.
Yeah, there were several parades in Montgomery County. I know there was a Gaithersburg one, a Rockville one. And I think the biggest one was the Tacoma Park one. I've been to that one before. There were several thousand people there, and a lot of county government people were there Mark Elrich was there. Several council members were there. All sorts of different groups were there. The Boy Scouts, the dog walkers. There was marching bands. A couple of political things. A little anti-Trump balloon. But there was a lot of people. I mean, it was hot. It was hot.
Yeah, well,
but, our friend Alan Bowser, who was just here, was out there as well. Our friend the MoCo Millennial, Helen, was there. My friend Joe, I saw him and his wife and daughter along the way. They were enjoying the show, and it was a fun time. It was a pretty big parade. I think a few dozen walkers or exhibitors, or 100 maybe, and I'd say tens of thousands of people. I don't know the exact number, but the streets were lined. So I took a bunch of pictures, and it was a fun time celebrating our fine independence, and there were a few around the county, and I'm sure
you mentioned that there was a political balloon, and I posted a picture of something else political in Germantown.
Yes.
They had posted on, I'd say, 25 light poles this image of President Trump with like Vladimir Putin, and I just let people know he was there.
Right.
And people were going nuts. I mean, one guy told me to stick to football.
Football, really?
Yeah, I was like, what? I was like, why would I say? But anyway, we were just kind of letting people know that was there, not that not opposing or supporting.
I mean, I know you gotta fight the haters all the time, as do I on a lesser scale of people telling me to stick to sports if I say something or that's inappropriate. But just posting something, and you replied. I thought you had a good thread of replying to people about what you post and why you post it, and staying as objective as possible.
Absolutely.
Just presenting the story. Let you decide. If it was a picture of Hillary and Bernie on a light pole, you would have posted the same thing. But it happened to be Trump and Putin in a interesting position, if you hadn't seen it. I don't know who posted it. I don't know if anyone knows who posted it or why. It's just odd. But hey, you report, they decide, right?
Yeah, I mean, that thread you're talking about, I remember specifically one time on Facebook I wrote that Mayor Judd Ashman was holding a rally, and Mayor Judd Ashman is a Democrat, and he's holding a rally for our Republican governor, Larry Hogan. And one lady said, I'm really disappointed that you're covering this and not covering Ben Jealous' rally. And then I just showed her a link to the Ben Jealous rally with Dave Chappelle that I covered, and she deleted her comment. But it's like, why even say that in the first place? What are you disappointed with? I'm just letting you know it's happening.
Judd Ashman,
I'm not
one of our most beloved Montgomery County residents, mayor of Gaithersburg, city councilman before.
Just letting you know what's going on. I never take a side, so you gotta keep that in mind,
right,
when you see these stories.
And July 4th was fun. There were fireworks going on around the county. People, there was an up county one and a down county, Montgomery County sponsored display, and those are fun. I've seen those before. If you don't want to go downtown,
are they fun?
If you want. I don't know. Are you a fireworks guy at all?
We talked about it a little bit last week, and I'm not.
Me neither.
Same thing every year.
Yeah. I enjoy watching them on TV. In fact, I watched the NBC Macy's fireworks for the first time. I didn't know they did that. I've watched the PBS show before. They have like music with John Stamos hosting and all sorts of bands, and then the fireworks display. And it's okay. If it's like you said, it's the same thing every year. But the Macy's one was cool in New York. I think they've been doing this for a while. They closed the Brooklyn Bridge, and they line up hundreds or thousands of fireworks, and they do like a huge display. It's really neat how they did it. It was very wide, unlike ours, which is just up in the air. You could see the whole city landscape. It was pretty neat. I like how they did that. It's the first time I've seen it, so maybe it was new to me. But me going out, standing in heat for 2 hours to watch fireworks, very unlikely of ever happening again. But some people like it. Hey, enjoy.
Yeah, and that evening, there was a lot of rain.
There was.
There was also a lot of rain yesterday.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
I mean, Montgomery County got some national attention yesterday for the flooding. There was flash flooding. Everyone's probably seen by now pictures of the guy in the car, the guy with his two daughters walking out from a car that's up to his neck. Did you see any flooding?
I was sending a picture. I didn't see any that bad.
Right.
But I know that I don't know. For me, I woke up in the morning. It was like 7, 8 a.m. and it was raining so hard. For me, it's always either overnight, like at night, or at nighttime.
Right.
It's rarely like when you're up in the morning.
I mean, it's almost always afternoon thunderstorms, afternoon to evening. You hear the forecast. I don't know how that works. I'm not a weather person. Maybe Moko Snow could get on this and predict floods and flash flooding more. But yeah, it's usually afternoon and evening thunderstorms. In the morning, it's very rare that it's that bad. I don't know why, but this morning was just happened to be that it timed out to be at 8 or 9 a.m. when a lot of people are driving. I think if this had happened at 1 or something, it would have gotten a lot less damage because less people are driving, I assume. But yeah, downtown, metro cars were flooded. We saw our friend Pete Behringer had a busy day. There were over 100 calls, I think, of rescuing and 20-something car rescues in Montgomery County alone just Monday morning. And one street in Potomac had just their one road into their neighborhood was sinkhole, it looked like, if you saw the picture, just broken in half. So people could not literally get out of their neighborhood or couldn't get in. They fixed that today in a very quick. They put a big steel plate over it to temporarily patch it. But those are dangerous because, the GW Parkway sinkhole is still not fixed. It's been a couple of months. It must be so deep that they don't trust people driving over it yet. I mean, you don't want to mess with Earth, I guess. It's a dangerous mistress, the Earth, as California earthquakes have taught us, too. But they're going to come in and fill that thing permanently soon. But people were stuck yesterday at that street in Potomac, and I mean, parts of Bethesda were flooded. It was very bad, and I don't think anyone's life was lost, so it's not, at least in Montgomery County that I know of.
Well, 50 years ago, Wayne Miller lost something.
He did.
He lost his leg in Vietnam.
All right, Silver Springs, Wayne Miller.
And his friends and family had a party for him 50 years later on July 4th. That was really cool to see. He's lived like an amazing life since losing his leg. But it was, Channel 9 covered it.
Yeah.
So I was happy to see that. It was like a nice story at the end because that day there was like a lot going on. I think I posted the Aspen Hill incident occurred that day.
Right.
Or earlier that night before. It's somewhere around there. So it was a cool story to see. Something on the nicer side.
Yeah.
And you got your Sports Hall of Fame.
We do. Yeah, I wanted to talk about that. This is the last week to put in nominations for the Montgomery County Sports Hall of Fame.
Is there someone now that's going to come across the table and you're going to be like, well, I forgot about wait a minute.
There might be, because as you know, there's people who are from Montgomery County or lived here or spent some time here or have family here that you have no idea about until you find the connection to MoCo. And it's the same thing in sports. We probably all know about a few people that are Katie Ledecky or Sean Springs, like famous people who are from MoCo or played here, but there's probably a lot that you have no idea are from MoCo at all. So we've refined our nomination process. It's now very simple. You can just go to the website, mcshf.org, Montgomery County Sports Hall of Fame, mcshf, no O in there, .org. And the nomination's pretty easy. You put in the person you think should get in and why and a little bit about them and yourself, and it takes just a couple minutes. And we extended the deadline so we can get all the Montgomery County people who want to nominate somebody in until this coming Sunday, the 14th. And then in 2 months, we got our ceremony. After the 14th, we'll decide who gets in, the first class, and then hopefully they can all come and on September 13th. But yeah, we've extended the deadline, so check it out if you haven't seen it before. Just Google Montgomery County Sports Hall of Fame, and the website will be up there. You can see who you want to get in and nominate someone you think should get in. I know when you put out the first tweet about it, a ton of people responded and had some ideas. Like our friend Dave Golden from Burtonsville is like, Darnell Dockett, Paint Branch, big-time NFL player, Montgomery County guy. I was like, that's definitely a guy who is in for consideration. So everybody knows someone.
Well, Paul Rabel.
Lacrosse guy.
That's a name you might not have heard yet because not many people associated with Montgomery County. But he was born and raised in Montgomery Village, and he's now the face of lacrosse. I had a conversation with a couple guys at the game that we went to. So John and I went to a PLL lacrosse game at Audi Field.
Premier League lacrosse.
That's right.
It's new league, right?
It's Paul Rabel's league. Paul and his brother Mike Rabel, who graduated with me from Watkins Mill. He, in 2000, Paul Rabel went to Watkins Mill for a year, transferred to DeMath after that, went to Johns Hopkins.
Say that you were better at him than lacrosse. You just chose not to play.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little better than Paul at lacrosse, but I let him have the glory because I have the MoCo show. I knew I would have the MoCo
Years
show.
later, but this is cool. It's a new league, and it doesn't have home cities.
It doesn't. It's like
kind of neat.
Team names like the Atlas or something like that. And John was actually telling me one of the cool things is that they're starting with like double the salary that Major League Lacrosse had.
Nice.
So they're providing benefits. They're giving players time off because the league it's not like spread out, so they're able to get other jobs and they can work at. They're trying to build like players' social media and stuff like that to build brands for players. So It was a cool event. I'll tell you what was cool about it is that like all the lacrosse players were like meeting the kids outside, and we saw so many Paul Rabel jerseys.
I'm sure,
but that's a Montgomery County guy right there.
Definitely.
Someone that definitely should be considered.
And lacrosse is an interesting sport because it's very big amongst youth, especially Montgomery County and the Maryland area overall, and college as well. I mean, between Maryland, Towson, Hopkins, this is like the hotbed of lacrosse in college as well. Between Montgomery County, Baltimore area. I mean, Virginia is good too. So it just never translated into a professional league. I don't know if they played in Europe or maybe Canada where it's a bigger sport. But it's because a guy I used to work with in radio played lacrosse in high school, college. He taught lacrosse, but he's like, there's just no money in professional lacrosse. He's like, I make more here than I would as a professional lacrosse player. So it's odd that it never really exploded as a professional league. It's out there. There's the PLL. There's a competing league. There was an indoor and an outdoor league. And lacrosse is fun. I like watching the Final Four on Memorial Day weekend. If Maryland's in it, I'll watch that.
Well, we have an awesome video on our YouTube channel.
All right. John Lynch, video man extraordinaire, putting together another cool video right there on the YouTube channel for the MoCo show. So we wish the Rabels luck, and hopefully they come on through here again, the D.C. area, and we can come see lacrosse. If you're a lacrosse fan, if you play lacrosse or your kids do, here in MoCo, there's thousands of kids who play lacrosse that
you might be a soccer fan, and our ladies have just won the World Cup, and we have a couple of them that play right here in Germantown for the Washington Spirit. Would that count?
That counts.
Something like for the MoCo Hall of Fame, if you play your home games here in Montgomery County.
It does. That's one of the criteria.
So, I mean, that's a possibility.
We do like to have you be here for, I think, 5 years.
Okay.
Either playing here or living here or born here or something. So you have some connect. Like Albert Hainsworth probably would not be a MoCo Hall of Famer because I think he lived. If he did live in MoCo and he was here with the Redskins for his year, probably not a MoCo Sports Hall of Famer, something like that. But Lavelle and Mallory Pugh.
Lavelle had that amazing goal in the World Cup.
Goal in the final is very cool, and they're right here in Boyd's, Maryland, Washington Spirit, and hopefully we'll do something with them. Maybe MoCo show night out at,
we actually are on August 10th.
All right.
They're playing Chicago, and Chicago has Julie Ertz on that team.
Ertz.
And I think one other player, the starting goalie, I'm forgetting her name.
It's like Naher?
Something like that. Yeah. And they play for Chicago, and we're gonna get a little bit of a discount for anyone that buys a ticket to that game, and you type in the MoCo show, or you mentioned that. I don't know how it's gonna work.
Cool.
We're still in the works right now, but you're gonna get a discount. We'll do a little meetup at that game where we'll all just hang out and watch the game, see Julie Ertz play. Maybe Zach Ertz will be there. I'll throw him a pass.
That's right.
Eagles tight end,
her husband, Eagles tight end Zach Ertz. But yeah, that's pretty cool for MoCo that. The two people who play, I don't know where they live, and I don't know if they plan on being here a while.
Gaithersburg and Rockville, they live.
Okay, then so it's pretty cool that they're World Cup winners, and now they'll do the tour, right? For probably be on night shows and Good Morning America kind of thing for this week, and then it's back to work with their club, with the Spirit. Their women's soccer league team here in Washington. So proud for them.
I wanted to mention something that I'm doing. I just started something, and I just posted it on Facebook today to let people know. I started it over the weekend. I went on Saturday and Sunday. Sunday and Monday. So I'm a PE teacher. We've talked about that before. I try to teach kids the skills necessary to be active for a lifetime. But I haven't been as active as I used to be.
What kind of teacher would you be if you didn't set an example for your kids?
I have to. So I stand at about 5'11".
And 318 pounds.
Well, I weighed between 170 and 180 almost my entire adult life until the last couple of years where I've kind of gained some weight here with the MoCo show and
me too.
Among other things. But I weighed 207.8. So that's about 40 pounds heavier than I've been.
I've been between like 210 and 215 for 20 years.
Well, that's a good thing. You've been maintaining that.
I've been lucky metabolism-wise, I guess. I probably should be 300 pounds because I eat terribly and don't exercise. So.
Well, my body fat growing up was in the teens, and it's now at nearly 32%.
All right.
And they do this thing where they let me know how old my body is. So my body is 62 years old. My dad is 63. So I called my dad. I'm like, Dad, I'm 1 year younger than you. Well, my body is. We started. I called Orange Theory and I said, hey, is there something we can do? And they said, well, we have something called the Transformation Challenge. So it's an 8-week challenge, and I'm going to go they told me at least 3 times a week for 8 weeks. I plan on going 4 to 5 times a week.
We'll go 10, 10:05, 10:15, and 10:20.
I'm going to all of them. But the workout is wild. It's about an hour long. I burned 700 some the first time and 811 the second time. So you burn a lot of calories, and I'm doing it for 8 weeks. I'm going to kind of be giving updates, on social media as I go along. But I'll be at all of them. I think there's Clarksburg, which is the home base, because that's the one that kind of took me in. There's Kentlands, there's Silver Spring, Olney, and Potomac. So I'll be all over the county working out. I put out the schedule. I wish you could join me. If you mention the MoCo show, give them a call. They'll give you your first class for free.
All right.
So that's something to consider.
Is that?
I don't know it's free. I don't know what their membership rates are, but we're doing a little special thing.
They're Orange Theory, it's called, and several locations in the area, and you'll try to hit them all there. So very cool. I wish you luck. I'm sure it'll help you out physically and get you back in shape, because we enjoy our food here on the MoCo show. We come to fine restaurants, and Four Corners Pub here fed us very well. But yes, we acknowledge it's not the healthiest of food in the world, but
it's once a week. Everything in moderation's okay. And unfortunately, I don't only eat out once a week.
Well, so maybe for the next 8 weeks, you might have to slow down a little. But
hopefully in life going forward,
right?
I can do that.
Right. You build a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle, Alex, right?
It is.
That's what they tell people, I think. But that's very cool. A lot of people are into fitness, exercise.
Yeah.
They get a rush out of doing it. I work with a guy who works out every day and has done it for like 25 years, and he won't eat carbs, and he's very diligent about it, and he loves it.
Does he look great?
I guess.
Or does he just look okay?
He's built, I suppose.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Who knows? I'm not going to, in 8 weeks, I'm not going to be in super shape.
Right.
But if I'm in better shape than I am today, I feel better after the workouts. I'm happy that I did
That's
it.
what people say. They after working out, they feel better, they sleep better, they breathe better, a lot of that stuff. So I can understand that.
So we're not doing an old school spot of the week right now, but let's talk about the life and death of Rockville Mall.
Yes.
So
you did a cool history post about this.
So I wrote it in 2017, but I reposted it recently. The life and death of Rockville Mall.
It was new to me.
Not many people know that not White Flint. We're talking about very close to Rockville Town, close to Rockville Town Square. It's where Rockville Town Center is. Over where the some of the government buildings are there.
Right.
That mall opened back in 1972, and it didn't do well. They rebranded it a bunch of times. 40 of the 55 stores were occupied when it started, so it didn't even start off great. And it kind of
That's a lot of stores for the 50s. I don't know how old the other malls are, like Lake Forest.
Lake Forest is 78. Montgomery Mall is 74.
All right, so there were no other malls here yet when that happened, because I mean, I don't even know which stores.
Wheaton Plaza was around.
Okay. That's
65
right.
as a plaza, though.
That's right. But yeah, there was no Rockville Pike there was no Best Buy there yet.
No.
So and no Marlowe Furniture and no other big stores on Rockville Pike or even up Rockville towards Gaithersburg kind of area. Not much was there. So Rockville Mall tried to be the hub for Rockville.
Well, by 1981, it was down to 20 stores out of the 55 being occupied. So it ended up selling in 83. Eventually, everything was torn down back in 1995. And in 1998, a group called Essex Capital Partners began developing the Rockville Center, which ended up being Rockville Town Center.
Right.
And then Rockville Town Square is a part of Rockville Town Center. And, that's kind of where we're at today.
Yeah.
But it was
was
not many people know about Rockville Mall.
I didn't even know about that at all, that it was big for 20-something years and then kind of fell apart there. And without that, we wouldn't have Rockville Town Square. It all leads to other things kind of thing. So I thought that was pretty neat. Something I saw that our friend Dave Golden from Burtonsville and the Burtonsville page put up was someone in Burtonsville I saw posted asking, why don't we have any art in Burtonsville or any statues? And so I thought, that is neat. Let me look it up. You can look on the Montgomery Planning site and see all the public art that's in Montgomery County. And then you probably don't even know a lot of it's there. Like some parks have a little bench sculpture. That's part of it. There's over 300 public art pieces in Montgomery County. Burtonsville has one. There was one artistic sculpture that I found on the map there. That's all they had. And I told Dave and responded to this person that you can contact people at planning. Artists are always looking to do stuff and put it out in public. I mean, in downtown Silver Spring, right by where Mama's was, there's a big sculpture right in front of one of the buildings. That's one of them. You got the Triceratops at your school,
right at my school,
right? So there's stuff everywhere. Like in front of Noah at downtown Silver Spring, they have a big hand. And there's museums. There's the Glenstone Museum in the county. There's a few other things, but there's art in the county. So it's pretty cool to look up. You could just Google Montgomery Planning and art in Montgomery County or statues, and you'll see the map of where everything is. And be like, oh yeah, that is art, and it's right there. You probably won't even realize something is there until you see it. Like the Silver Spring penguins that are on the wall. Someone tweeted, there's a sign on Georgia Avenue, welcome to Silver Spring, and it's got a man and a woman and a kid and a penguin. So someone's like, why is there a penguin on this sign? I'm like, oh, that's the animal.
Penguins are also native to Silver Spring.
They were right there. They actually they wouldn't be so fat if they used Orange Theory as well. They waddle around, these penguins.
Well, they got all those nice. They got Urban Butcher and El Sapo, and
that's right.
All set down there in Silver Spring. They're just eating up.
They're
eating everything
they
can.
eat like me. They're very fat. But no, there's a lot of cool sculptures in the downtown, in areas all over the county that you might not even know about. So that's something cool that I saw. A school-related story that you might have seen is foreign exchange students.
Banned. Unless,
yes. So, have you had? They don't do it at the middle school level, do they? It's only high school.
We have a lot of kids, diplomats' kids, but they're not foreign exchange students.
Right. So, a lot of high schools do it. I'd say out of 25 schools, several of them have a foreign exchange program where maybe someone from here goes to another country, someone from there comes here, maybe lives with that kid's parents while they're here for a semester or a year. And because of either overcrowding or the lack of funds or both, they decided to cut the program. And that really outraged a lot of people because they're like, this is a really cool thing. You can go experience another country, or someone from Finland could come experience high school here for a year. A friend of mine at the station, he has a foreign exchange student living with them for the semester from Germany, which I thought was pretty cool. And I told him, you got to go see the Rockville city sign. It says Sister City of Pinneberg, Germany, right there on the Rockville sign. I was like, no way, I'm going to bring him out there to see it. He didn't know about that. So there's all sorts of things to learn from other cultures, even America. So I think it's a cool thing. So they kind of compromised, and they're going to allow some schools to have foreign exchange students. I think they're going to cap it at 50, so maybe 1 or 2 per school, and only a few schools are participating, some are not. But I think it's a cool thing. I never went overseas. A lot of people do it. In college, they do a semester abroad. My friend did a semester in Amsterdam our junior year. He liked some things, didn't like others. He's like, I like the openness of Amsterdam, but not the seediness of Amsterdam. So he liked some things there. So it's a cool project, and I hope that they continue it and maybe expand it as well. Something else I saw you post was about, or maybe our friend Toby posted this, about places you can swim in MoCo.
Yeah, so disclaimer is that we're not telling people to swim in these places.
Right.
We're
only swim in designated areas.
Yeah, they're legal and have lifeguards and stuff.
Right. Don't swim anywhere alone, definitely. It's drowning as possible. But there are lakes and bodies of water in MoCo that you can fish in. There's places to fish if you're a fisherman, fisherwoman.
I mean, we haven't talked about this in 50 episodes, but I can't swim. So that's why I kind of turned that question around to everyone else.
Right.
Toby asked me, and I asked the MoCo Show followers.
That's right.
Because I couldn't tell you. For me, not one place, because I can't swim anywhere.
That's true. But we'll get you swimming at some point. I can swim. I don't think I've swam in 30 years. I've probably stood in a pool or a lake or the ocean and played with kids or a beach ball or sand. I don't know if I've freestyled or whatever, backstroke, swim. I've probably just waded or stood in water since then. But yeah, there were a lot of either lakes or natural bodies that you can swim in, and of course be careful and look for signs. And but yeah, there's at Seneca at the park there, you can fish. I don't think you can hunt. I don't know if you can hunt in MoCo anywhere. I'm not a big hunter. Never done that. But you can definitely fish there. I think you can fish at Lake Whetstone. I think they have fish in there.
I don't know. They used to have sailboats back in the day when I was young. Fishing. I've seen people fish in there. They have fish. I don't think you eat those fish.
I don't know. I've seen
you eat them?
Throw them back. I don't know. I've seen a guy. I mean, my girl used to live near there. We would walk around there a few times. I saw a guy with a fishing pole reeling something in. I don't know if it's just for sport or fun, and he tosses them back, or they're like guppies, so they're too small to eat.
I don't know.
He pops them like a Tic Tac. I don't know, but I don't think you're getting a salmon out of there.
I don't know. I want to go fishing, so if there's anyone out there that fishes in Montgomery County, I'd like to come along and just catch some. I like the feeling of
it is neat.
Catching a fish.
I went once as a kid. My dad took me and my brother loved it, and they went back a bunch of times. I didn't like it. I'm like, you're just sitting out here. It's hot. Maybe if we went in the fall, I would have liked it, but it was not very pleasant to me. Just sitting out there didn't seem too pleasant. But some people love it. They live for fishing, and my brother and dad used to go all the time. They'd bring back some. He'd fillet it and cook it. I'm like, it'd stink up the house. I'm like, oh my God, this is disgusting. But just wasn't for me. But a lot of people are into it and do it for food. People fish all the time. But I'd go if we had someone who's like, you got to go fishing. There's 84 spots to fish in
You know
Montgomery
what? Maybe
County.
I'll put out a tweet right now.
Yeah.
And say, hey, who wants to take? Well, maybe not now. It's late at night. I don't know if people that are up at 10 on a Tuesday night right now are going to talk about fishing.
You'll get some response because there's definitely people who know of fishing spots in the county. I don't know if there's a fish pond anywhere that just because you can make a fish pond. I mean, I bet some backyards have a koi pond.
Yeah, I don't want to catch some fish that I put in a pond just to catch them.
No, but some people do it just to
see them.
No, well, to see them too. And to make food. I mean, you make a pond, you put 10 fish in there, they'll make thousands of fish.
Yeah.
You put, I don't know, some sort of greenery so they eat, and fish will duplicate very easily. I know my Alabama family has a catfish pond, or they used to, because it's a place to get food. You don't have to buy catfish. You just go to the pond, get one. That's your dinner right there. I'm not a big fish guy. Something I didn't even know. I was reading this on a website because I'm a big dog guy. You're a dog guy. I always assumed dogs were the most popular pet in America. But fish. More people have fish than dogs. 120 million people. 1 in every 3 people have a fish. And I had a fish as a kid. Did you have
Me
fish?
too, yeah. But
goldfish, right?
But I didn't care about him. Did you?
I mean, not really. I remember him. We had 2 goldfish. I named them Heathcliff and Garfield after the cats.
Well, they're orange, right?
They were orange,
yeah.
so that's all I could identify with. One died after a few weeks. The other lasted a year maybe or something. I mean, you feed it every day. You clean it every couple of weeks.
Did you sing the Heathcliff theme song?
Heathcliff,
no one should.
Yeah. There lies a neighborhood.
Yeah.
I probably did. I liked Heathcliff.
Heathcliff was better than Garfield, in my opinion.
I mean, Garfield's a good comic strip. I like it. Are you a comic strip guy at all?
No. I mean, I remember seeing it in the paper, but for me, it was I'm a cartoon kid.
Yeah, I remember the cartoon too. But I like the comic strip. I think it's still around. Jim Davis, I think he's still doing Garfield. Comic strip people are like play-by-play announcers. You got to die before they'll stop to lose your job. But I actually read about Bill Watterson, the Calvin and Hobbes guy, recently. He was like a recluse and doing it was interesting. but yeah, the fish, I just didn't see the appeal to it. And I've seen other people have nice aquariums with the stones and with little fake ocean reef stuff, and they have all sorts of fish. And you have to, of course, have fish that get along, because otherwise they'll just eat each other. And I go to Petco many Saturdays to do the dog rescue, and there's so many fish there. And when we're walking around inside, it's just a wall of fish that I mean, I guess people like it. They like different fish. They look cool. The Nemo fish looks kind of cool, I guess. The rainbow fish, but I like an animal that you can cuddle with, like a dog. But some people like fish. I mean, that's your thing. So people love the fish. So not that we would eat these fish. We'd only eat the salmon or the trout. And I like eating fish. I just never caught one and gutted it and and anything like that. I want to thank Four Corners Pub for having us out. That'll do it for us. Great spot here in Silver Spring at Four Corners, the corner of Colesville and University. Since 1967, they've been here. Come on. They got Wednesday night trivia night. They got Thursday night half-price pizza night. They got Tuesday night 40% off burger night. We love the pizza. I like their sandwiches. They gave us like a panini kind of thing.
I like their little steak sandwich.
They did. That was good too. It had the caramelized onions and a lot of them too. That was very good. Like a mini slider looking thing. So check them out here in Four Corners. And we want to thank them and Katie for taking care of us tonight. And that'll do it for us. We'll talk to you next week.